Hi, it's me again with CorelDraw Tips and Tricks. Somebody posted this logo on Facebook, and it's kind of fuzzy and they're having trouble tracing it. I actually traced it and made this. And then when I was finding the post to show off, somebody suggested that it's a Google under Sacred Heart Cathedral logo. So I went to Tools and picked large, and this came up. So I just brought it in and I imported it, or I pasted it because I'd already selected it. And there it is right there. And it is a white background box, but it traces pretty good. It's only 3 inches, so we're going to leave it alone. I'm going to go to Trace Clip Mat, Outline Trace Clip Art. And it's already done, and you can see now that there's no white background. And they're probably going to engrave it since they're on a engraving site, so you can make it orange or black. Now, it's not perfect, but that all could be fixed. So if we left click, right click, you could make this a lot better. First of all, I'm going to turn it to a hairline. Always work in hairline. To me, it's better. I'm going to grab these nodes. Well, I've got to break it apart. So I'm going to take away the yellow background. It's going to cause this problem. So I'm going to take the nodes and I'm going to click on it. I must not have ungrouped it. There we go. And, you get into trouble sometimes. I'm going to shift select both these, holding down the shift key, and see it's a curve. So I'm going to right click and turn it into a line. But that kind of messed up our heart shape just a little bit. So what you can do in lieu of that, you see the two handles. When you click on it, you could, and I need to right click and turn this in. No, I'm going to leave it alone. See, it's a cut, so it's not really moving the other handle. And the heart itself has kind of got, a curvature. So you could possibly quite bring this, in a little bit more, make it a little more even, and then just bring your lines in. Let's try deleting that node and see what happened. Not much. I think it still looks good. And then just do the exact same thing on the other ones. I'd actually maybe delete that node. Didn't change anything. I think, we'll see how, so I can hold down the Alt key and lasso those two nodes. Let's try turning them into a line and see, it really didn't change that heart. I'm going to get rid of this node and I'm going to select these two nodes and right click and turn it into a line. Now it did change this heart a little bit, but if we take this and right click and turn it into a smooth node, kind of put it back, and it would just take some work. Now one thing, and I'm actually gonna trace it here. See, like right here, just kind of make that all even, maybe even delete that node, kind of back up sometimes to make sure. And really in engraving, that would probably be pretty good already, depending on the size. If it's pretty big, some of this stuff might show up, but if it's not very big, it won't show up. We're a little bit off on this one, I think. So we're going to take a node and just kind of bring it in a little closer to that, and maybe back that one up. And I'm going to try to delete a couple of nodes here and see what happens. Not much. Now, that's the way you could do it. Then you could just type in your text. So that looks pretty good. I mean, it could still use some work. But here's the original one. And here's mine to the right in black. It's quite the same. Corel normally doesn't trace text, but on this one it did. So let's get rid of all this. So you could go that route. I always make a duplicate of my item. It's only 3 inches, so I'm just going to trace bitmap. Somebody suggested, and I've already looked at resampled. Somebody suggested turning it into grayscale. I really don't think it matters in this case. I'm going to go outline trace. So I went to trace bitmap, outline trace, clip art. Now you'll see what it does in just a second. And if we nudge the new one out of the way, see how kind of broken up it is? Well, what we could do in this case is ungroup it. And let's move this one completely out of the way. And let's grab, see the green, I left the trash. So it's already that much cleaner. Now do not, move this stuff. You could move it now with the nudge. And we're going to get rid of all that trash. 73 objects in there. Now it's still got a rough coating on it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to nudge this one out of the way and nudge this one out of the way. I'm going to work on this one. I'm going to left click, right click. I'm going to turn it into a hairline. And I am going to take the smoothing tool. If you have X7 or above, you got a smoothing tool. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. Click on your item and then just real fastly, quickly, just move it around, get rid of those nodes. Okay? Now, we could literally do the same thing to both these. I created a heart from that. Once again, look at the difference between that and a hairline. You can just see the shape a little bit better. So click on it and real quickly get rid of these nodes. And depending on how fast your rate is set up here. That works so well, I'm just going to go ahead and do this. Left click, right click, turn it into a hairline. Grab the smoothing tool and click on it is the key. Look at the difference. And then just move it back. And this would be a good time if you're, it's got rounded corners. There's a lot of things you could do with this. One suggestion would be able to take a 2-point line and just kind of go from like a flat spot to a flat spot. Ooh, so I'm using somebody else's file. So I'm going to click off everything and I'm going to go click on artistic. I don't care what color it is. I just want to draw on a hairline. And because this thing is so little, that's why it looks that thick. Now what I'm going to do is take the virtual segment delete key and delete that. So now I've got a square corner. But what I need to do is take the Smart Fill tool and fill that in and nudge out of the way, get rid of all your lines, and see there's that line we drew. Now we're going to need to get it a little bit closer to the graphic. I'm going to left click, right click, and see now it's a hairline. And all we have to do is take those two nodes with the shape tool. I'd maybe delete that one and then kind of bring this in a little bit. But then all you have to do is take these two nodes and make up that spot that we did. And then just do that all the way around. Maybe even delete that node. Do that all the way around. The tip is good. And then just make everything, if you're a graver, that won't work because it's been traced. So I'm going to left click, right click in black. It doesn't really matter. Left click, right click in black. And I'm just going to use the Smart Fill tool and fill in every spot. I've never seen Corel trace text that good. And you could also, if you don't like it, you could change the text and get it to something close. Now, one thing you want to do after you fill all this in, all this is a fill, select it all, and right click on your mouse, no outline. It'll give you a clean look. That's pretty cool, pretty clean. Once you clean this up a little bit more, or leave it. I mean, the original text is kind of flat, so you need to kind of make them flat, but it wouldn't have to be. Anyway, I hope that helped them a little bit. Thank you for watching.